Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Take care of the music here. There we go. All right. Wonderful. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hopefully everyone is able to get in some fairly decent trading today. Overall, the volatility finally woke up, huh? Nice to see. Looking across the board on the bigger picture, obviously, well, everything that I was looking for this morning, that move down just kind of shut it all down. But nice pullback in the bigger picture, and realistically, this is something that's been needed for a while. Every time that the market just went up to the highs, nothing, right? We had that V bottom at the NYSE Open, V bottom at the NYSE Open, V bottom at the NYSE Open. I mean, to be fair, V bottom after the NYSE Open, right? I mean, they had job done, I guess, but a lot more aggressive. And this is the type of pullback that the market needs to see in order to at least maintain a semblance of health. For the upside, got maybe a wider channel, something like that taking place. Now that it's finally pulling back, and it's holding very nicely off of the bottom of that. And if we look at the wider picture, it almost looks like they've got a bit of midline support resistance in there. Kind of, sort of. It's a little gross. A little higher. All right, well, the midline's all right. Could be better. Bigger movement to the upside. Buyers are obviously looking for continuation. We've got an L1 hold. Buyers are just kind of stuck on top of the midline at the moment. Need a bit more info. S&P, same thing. Giant flush all the way down. Bounced right back up again. V bottom. And, I mean, at this rate, we're not too far away from going through the top. Strong conviction. Gold had some sideways, just gross. That first few news candles that they had were just nasty. Haven't really broken outside of that, so nothing going on from gold. Crude oil had a fantastic bounce off of L1. I missed it. I was scalping the NASDAQ at the time and totally missed the fact that crude oil was in a zone of interest, but it was there. Worked out beautifully, of course. Nice bouncing, but it still hasn't hit the lows of the channel. It's stuck around the middle of the channel, midline. It's just hovering. Lots of really nasty stuff inside of here, but seem to have gotten kind of clear of it a little bit at least. Major objective obviously is the $60 mark, but if it can dip a little bit lower, we've got more support around the 57.50s, 57.40s. Over on the euros, just dead sideways. Jeez, this market's horrible looking. In desperate need of a pullback. Something, I mean, at this point, it could use just a shock. Not really anything going on in the euro. For the crypto side of things, Bitcoin, nice flush down into an L2 hold with a huge amount of support that held inside of there. Right at the 45,000 mark, and then again at the 44,000 mark. Right at L2, tried to break out of the lows of the wedge. Starting to kind of look like an inverted head and shoulders now. A little bit of a break of falling resistance. Hasn't really proven much though, but Bitcoin's got a shot. And then over on Ethereum, Ethereum's got some nice pullback momentum as well, but the bigger dip was at the 1670s. Kind of missed that. To be fair, compared to Bitcoin at least, Ethereum not looking too well. Not too well off. Looks like better support would be back down below the 1700s if buyers are going to step back up. It just doesn't look like they're ready. I mean, they missed the highs, and we are blowing off the lows. There's more than enough time for the market to rotate back up, but I don't think it wants cheaper prices. Maybe a 3-press low. That would be really nice, actually. If they can get down there to 3-press low down at 1640. Yep, that looks really nice. That's about it, though. Looking at the, looking at the NASDAQ so far, it started off the day completely sideways, but it finally woke up with a big breakout move to the downside. It did have a bit more of a kind of a poke down in the 13,520s and then just shot straight back up again. All of the sellers just getting slammed on the way up. No, there's just nothing. There's been a couple pushes back, I guess. But realistically, we've got higher low, higher low. Even this one was still a higher low all the way up. So bulls are still maintaining. Nice little channel, maybe. How's the high look? Kind of bad. Well, for lack of anything else, I guess. S&P showing a bit more continuation to the downside. Nice bear momentum. On this rally higher, what did that look like? Nope, I don't want that. Just those. All right. Whew, wow. Okay. Gigantic stack of volume at 3909. If we go a little bit further in, we can get a bit more info. How did that progress? Just built up a little bit further at 3910. Now we're reversing out of there. So if we go all the way now to the end, yep. It seems like buyers tried and they're giving up. We need cheaper. Maybe the previous zone of support on bar 59 where they kind of kicked off the move to the upside off 3900, but either way, it's not ready to go higher yet. NASDAQ pulling down towards the bottom of the channel. See what kind of volume they can put in here. A lot of volume stacking up around the channel lows. Buyers on the scalp side may be trying to get something going, but this 5-minute chart's a little bit rough. We're still messing around with that morning volume. That morning volume on the first 5 was at 6750. That was back... Hello? Where is it? It's way the heck up there. 756 next. Sheesh. All right, a little bit of stopping power, but we got to see more than this. This move down on the S&P, man alive. Watching the retest of the channel lows for volume. Let's make these a little extra big. Ooh. Nice stacked volume starting to push into the base here. This is where buyers will try to get a pop back up again. Nice and low, and they have volume confirmation. Buyers have to push back up towards that 4250. Nice first approach. First area off on that quick little pop higher. Now we got to see them shove through this 42 quarter. This 42 quarter area, that's a bit messy. Where'd my volume go? All right, there we go. Very nice continuation. Very good bull bar. More buying volume stacking up on the pullback. That's a good sign initially for buyers, but it's pushing through pretty quickly. Starting to dip back down towards the retest of the lows of the channel. Now for a break-even test. Big pop underneath, more volume stacking up right underneath. Okay. Jeez, OP, 3475 has got a metric ton of volume changing hands here. Jeez. Big volume getting stacked in. That's a heavy bear bar 74. I've got to see the market rotate back up again. Volume sticking around at 35. I'm going to jump ship. I don't like that, which probably means that it's time to go higher, but that kind of volume here with how, yeah, of course, with how herky-jerky this is, it's a little bit nasty. If they are going to go higher, they should be able to plot a relatively strong bull bar that closes back above. And that would kind of invalidate some of this bearish momentum. Very nice bull bar back up. See if the buyers want to soak up the next pullback. Ooh, a lot of volume stacking into that pullback. Okay. So if the buyers want to give it a shot, it's still relatively low and the risk is still relatively light. As far as upward potential, 2-to-1 objectives would be up at like the 59.50s. Still a lot of volume down here trying to stack up into the move. Strong bear bar. And as soon as it popped above that, or below that bear bar, it immediately snuck back up again. So I'm kind of curious to see how they want to follow this through. Not so impressive at the moment. There's a lot of volume stepping up there, though. That looks like buyers just jumped ship at break even. I'll reduce 1, but if it starts turning down, this could start sparking a flame to the downside pretty quickly. Yep, I'm out. That is not worth the risk. That volume, did you see how fast that volume stacked in? Holy cow. All right, well, if the buyers are going to prove anything, they're going to have to rotate a bit higher now because I can't trust them. We're in the zone. It's a nice zone of interest. But the miss on the highs looks like they're going to try to chunk through a little bit. Next zone of support would be a bit further down, like 610s. S&P's still a mess. NASDAQ feels like it's really on the edge here. Previous zone of support is going to be hovering around the 625.50s. Another strong bull bar. That's a really good sign for buyers, but they're going to need to close it high. Kinda. That needed to look a little better. Starting to see more volume stacking in the 40 quarters. If the buyers are going to take it, they need to get above these bull bars. They've got to take it a bit further up. But every time it comes back to this 40 quarter, you can see that volume just gets slammed. Ooh. Big heavy bear bar. Sellers are either going to get a break lower or it's going to be a failure. One of the two. There's not really many other options inside of here. Zone of interest for buyers, at least, would be back down to like the 25.50s. Look at that volume right underneath the bear bar, too. So there's volume to back it up. We know sellers got in there. We can see the volume. That's a lot more volume stepping up. Now they're able to get through. What a mess inside there. So now that it's become a little bit clearer, if it can get a pullback, usually sooner than later, that's where you'll see sellers resume selling back in the 30s again. Volume nodes at 32 quarter, but 30s in general is going to be the area of interest. Wow. Bears just said no thanks. Sellers will be looking for more continuation, but I would prefer to sell a bit further up in terms of adding more size. It's too far down for me to want to go too aggressive, but these bears seriously mean business right now. As far as downward objectives go, back down to like the 609s, 600s fit. I mean, realistically, back down to the 609s is that previous major swing from the 5-minute. But if the market's going to hold anything and it's going to bounce, it will likely plot a really strong bull bar here and shut down the whole move. That would be the clue that this push down was a seller's break even. We haven't seen the volume to prove that, though. $32's starting to get up there. There we go. 975 is the zone on the S&P, although it never triggered underneath that next bear bar. It actually gapped up to the next close. $32 still stacking volume. But bulls in the short term have a little bit too much strength for me to want to go too aggressive, especially knowing the turning point could want to try to chunk higher here. 5 minutes going into the end of the day, 15 minutes to the 4 p.m. top of the hour. You could remember seeing how the NASDAQ likes V bottoming. I would rather be cautious. On the 60-minute, we're also backing up into the previous POC of that drive down, which is at 620. On the S&P 350, how much time do we have? We still got time. If it does want to push back down to the bottom, that first entry was obviously not very good anymore. The continuation wasn't there, but I took it light risk regardless. I would like to add maybe one more up here, but they haven't given me a reason to. S&P has that previous bear bar's top, which is at 350. That's also a big VVP. There's like no volume there. That needs to get filled in. Still got a little time. Well, I've got to admit, I'm losing a bit of faith in the sellers here. They've got to show up to the party, or this might want to push a bit further up towards like the 650s. Okay, nice continuation back down. It did push back off with more volume. I mean, the volume's still stacking really heavy here. There we go. We've got to see a bit more continuation. If they are going to flush through the bottom, they might still be able to squeeze down. The 5 minutes really, really heavy. We've got 35 seconds left. A weak bull bar is just going to get sold into. Is anything else setting up going into the end of the day? No. Well, where's the euro at? Oh, man. After I missed the top of the channel, though. Nah. Waiting to see if sellers can follow back through to the downside. A big bull bar here trying to push. Whoa. Welcome to the final 10 minutes, huh? Got a higher low. Market trying to pressure back down again, but that big whip on the bottom, seeing all this volume stacking up at the base, either the sellers show up to the party and hammer this lower, or that 350 volume could potentially spark a little bit of some issues. I want to see them break the lows, not above the low. That doesn't help anything. Hey, how's it going? Hey there, bud. Oh, I love it. Losing a bit of faith in the bulls, or the bears, rather. They didn't fill me on any of them. Okay, well, we might be able to utilize this volatility on this pop higher then for a quick washout move. They stacked a lot of volume right back in that previous structure, but any longs that were in that are going to be looking to essentially liquidate. Look at the volume. S&P still hovering at the 350s. Really? You're going to miss it by one tick? We've got a big POC hovering down here, so because of that, I'm going to look to scale out of the majority if it's going to flush. I don't like the way it looks. Ooh, S&P. There we go. 3/4. 900 half. Ooh, getting some volume. We might be able to get a bit more out of the push. For real? Fine. Nice drive down. Jeez, and it chunked right back up again. S&P sellers are trying to stack in, still hovering around the 2/4 or so. Got about 7.5 minutes. There's still time. Got a halfway decent average. But just to be safe, we are going into the end of the day. Yeah. All right, swept out of the rest of the NASDAQ. They hit too much down there at the 3630s. Whoa, high volume. Right when I got out, of course. Hey, I still hedge myself, though. I'm short on the S&P, so... Rotten bugger, right at the top. Halfway decent bear bar will get scalpers involved for sure. S&P getting nice and close. A little bit more. 900 half. Bear bar down, but volume's at 630. That's a bit of a touch and go. Got to see the sellers sweep in underneath the base 2875s or so. Basically, you just need proof. Got a nice little wedge. Trying to get the breakdown of the wedge. Target filled on the S&P. If they can't get the job done here, though, it's going to be game over for sellers on the NASDAQ. This is like the do or die. Bear bar follow through doesn't really prove a whole lot. Lot of volume at the 630s. Got to push. There we go. A lot of volume on this 2750. If they lose that again, I'm not going to be very interested. All right. No thanks. Which means now it's going to fall, right? I know how this goes. Bulls attempting to get a secondary move to the upside. S&P gave a nice drop lower. We've got 5 minutes until the end. Ooh. That bull bar is going to shake the confidence of any sellers that were, any sellers that were long. Shorts who were short are scrambling right now. This pullback is very likely going to get aggressively absorbed into. That move up is going to scare the crap out of shorts. Or scare the crap into the shorts, whatever. First objective up, breaking through this resistance now, 39s, 40s. They got to keep going. More bulls volume stepping up into the 6950s. Keep creeping. They're really messing with that volume. More stacking up in the 3950s. Possible break-even test. If this loses its grip, that might be sellers trying to flush this right back down to the lows. This is a really sensitive area, especially given the time of day. Yeah, not worth it. Not when it's sliding back down again. Still got a couple... Well, 58's when it's going to get really interesting. S&P still holding off of that volume. Bears are trying. We need a bit more. They're not doing too great down here. Bulls looking like a halfway decent attempt now. Nice bull pop, still dealing with these higher lows. What did they do on this rally? There's still a lot of building going on in that previous area. That's what makes this area so touchy. There's a lot of volume. Which way you want to go, NASDAQ? Here comes 58. This is when volatility gets a bit fun, usually. Or nothing happens. That's cool, too. All right. I'm going to have to duck out pretty soon here, so I got to make sure that I'm outside waiting for my son when he gets home from school. Well, normally, at 358, there's usually good volatility. Not today, though. Nice bullish movement to the upside. Attempted to break the high of that wedge. They've only got a minute left. Very dependent on how they close this candle. Weak bear bar. Bulls trying to push, but there's no room. It just runs straight into the top of the wedge. How much time do we have? We still got 40 seconds. They're going to wait until 4 o'clock to actually do something. Nice bear bar. Attempting to get a flush down to 37.75. Watch the push down here. We're running out of time a little bit. There's not going to be enough time. All right, well, that's going to do it. I got to get outside and make sure that I am actually there. But overall, not too bad. Fairly good afternoon, but that'll do it. Enjoy. I hope you had a great day of trading, and we will see you all hopefully tomorrow, right? Have a good one. We'll talk to y'all later. Thanks.